In today's video, I'm covering a not-so-fun topic. I unfortunately lost the young female shortfin snow white bristlenose in my pair that I was trying to get going. She was too young to breed just yet, but she was really getting close, and the male was definitely ready. He was probably over 3 inches. She was maybe around 2.25. And yeah, I lost her unexpectedly. I really did not see it coming. I mean, I'll talk about the signs that I did see, but I don't recall if I mentioned this pair to you, but I've been working on this pair for a few months. I got the male first, and then I really had to hunt to find a female. She was a lot smaller than the male, and they were going strong for a while. And this is a big deal for me, losing a fish, because in the over a year that I've been running this new automated fish rack, and I've done a video on the whole rack. I'll put that in the video description. In the year or so that I've been running this whole setup, I've only lost 3 fish counting this one. One was a guppy during birth, and the other was a fish, a L333, that had just arrived the day before, and it died during the quarantine, so I don't really attribute that to anything I did as much as just it didn't make the shipping. It was too much for it. It had some type of disease that it came with. It was in my tank for less than 24 hours, and it died, and the rest of them lived. So with that being said, I've held a pretty good track record of quarantining and keeping disease out of my tank and keeping fish alive, so this was a big bummer for me. But that being said, I did know what I was getting into, because these snow white bristlenose are supposedly, notoriously fragile, a lot more fragile than all the others, the green dragons, the super reds. You can handle all of those like you would normal bristlenose, but for some reason the snow white, something with their genetics, they're just prone to random death a lot more, and you'll hear that from a lot of people who have had them. And you'll hear other people say, no, they're just like normal bristlenose. I've never had an issue with them. I think some people get lucky, maybe with the genetics or the ones they have at their setup, but a lot of people have gone through this same thing I'm experiencing here, just a completely random death of an adult. So I've had her for a few months. I got her from Chu Xiong. He sent her over to me, and I was really hoping to grow her out so that she'd start breeding with the male. And maybe a month ago or so, she actually kind of looked like she was starting to get gravid, but then she kind of seemed like she started to look a little bit skinnier, so I wasn't sure if she was actually holding eggs or if I was just seeing things, but I thought things were progressing on the right track. I mean, she had lived in here for a few months, so she was, obviously eating something. The one sign I did see was that I don't think her and the male were getting along too good. I think the male was very aggressive with her. She would hide up on the driftwood a lot, or she'd hide behind the heater. She didn't stay on ground level ever, it seemed. I'd see her every now and then on ground level, but I did see him chase her away a few times, and she spent most of her time up above, not on ground level, not on eye level with the male. So I think there was some aggression issues there, and the only reason I didn't intervene is because I went through this same exact thing with my longfin green dragons, but it was weird. It was actually opposite. The female was bigger than the male, and she bullied the crap out of him, nearly killed him. He would hang out at the top a lot, and I ended up separating him to grow him out to be bigger than her so that he could be the dominant one in the tank. The male would be the dominant, the female would not be the dominant. And then I reintroduced them together, and that did take place. I did witness them hash it out, and he ended up coming out on top, asserting his dominance. She was no longer the dominant one. They bred, everything worked out, they get along great. And I've seen that with some bristlenose before. They kind of hash that stuff out, and then once they start breeding, it all goes away, in my experience. So that's what I was waiting on here. So anyway, fast forward to now, you see something didn't work out. She has passed away unexpectedly. I mean, as of yesterday, she was just hanging up towards the top of the driftwood like she normally does. I keep the lights off in these tanks 24/7, so anytime I have the lights on, she's way up there. And I figured when the lights are off, she's able to roam more. The male's not able to see her as well, or he just tolerates her, and feeding happens then, because all my fish feed when the lights are out. Anyway, I keep my lights out all the time. So fast forward to now, I've made some posts on a couple of fish pages to get people's opinions, and it seems like there's 2 leading theories. A is the theory I just explained. The male was just too aggressive with her. She wasn't getting enough food. He just bullied her to the point of death. B is that she had some type of internal parasite or bacterial thing going on, and this leads to what I mentioned earlier, that the snow whites are more susceptible to this for whatever reason, and a lot of people have experienced this. They just randomly drop dead. that was actually what Chu, the person who sold me the fish, thought. That was his leading suspicion, was that it was that. So he recommended, he said with his, he adds leaves, either mulberry leaves or Indian almond leaves every week, one a week. And that kind of helps with those issues. So I'm going to start doing that, but I mean, hindsight's 20/20 on this one. I could have separated her. I could have been adding the leaves. I didn't think I needed to separate her, given my prior experience. This seemed normal, and I didn't really know about the leaves. So we're going to do some things differently. But here's the thing. Going forward, my plan is going to be to have a female that's larger than the male. That's what everybody seems to be recommending. I'm going to add the leaves every week. I'm going to make sure there's even more hiding spots. And we're going to take another crack at this, but I am going to sell this male, and I'm going to do grow outs instead. I'm going to start with maybe 10 fry around 1.5 inches. We're going to do grow outs, and then I'll keep all the females, sell all the males, bring in smaller males to get genetic diversity, and also have the males be smaller than the females, and take another crack at this thing. That's the game plan going forward. Pretty bummed out that this happened, but I'd love to hear your experiences in the comments down below with snow white bristlenose. I've watched a lot of videos and heard from a lot of people that had similar experiences, and I'd also love to hear your recommendations and your success stories, because I really do want to get these going. But if I have any more losses, I unfortunately probably will just call it quits and switch to maybe L397. And a few other quick things I forgot to mention. I did check the parameters of the tank. Everything was pretty clean, almost perfect. And that is mainly because I change on the auto drip system 70% of the water a week in the tank, which isn't a true 70 because it's a drip system. So, some of the water stays in, but, knock that 70 down to maybe 45, 50. I'm still changing a lot of the water a week, so it's pretty difficult for my parameters to get knocked off, especially with the two large, very cycled sponge filters. And I also had a couple people suggest that maybe through their experiences they think that the snow white males are more aggressive than the normal males. I'd love to hear everyone else's thoughts on that, because that's kind of interesting. I can't see how they would be more aggressive than just normal bristlenose males, but who knows. So yeah, comment down below with your experiences, and love to hear from you guys. If you found this video interesting or helpful in any way, hit that like button down below, or the subscribe button if you're new to my channel. And as always, thank you for watching.